Mark Randall Volman, born on April 19, 1947, and passing away peacefully on September 5, 2025, was far more than just a figure in the music world. He was a storyteller whose medium was melody, a friend whose loyalty could be relied on, and a man who found his highest joy in spreading the beauty of song. Affectionately known as Flo from the famous duo Flo and Eddie, his life journey wove together creativity, humor, and deep resilience. From his first steps into the vibrant rock scene of the 1960s to the quiet yet influential role he later embraced in classrooms, his path stands as a reminder that true artistry remains eternal. He was born in Los Angeles, California, to a Jewish father and a Catholic mother, growing up in the buzzing suburb of Westchester. His youth was steeped in the rhythms and harmonies of the 1950s and 1960s, which quickly ignited in him a passion for music. It became the language through which he dreamed, a force that carried him toward a future larger than anything his surroundings might have suggested. By the time he finished his studies at Westchester High School in 1965, he was already immersed in music, performing with his band The Crossfires. That group would eventually transform into the Turtles, setting the stage for a career that would shape the sound of a generation. His early years revealed the qualities that never left him: humor, curiosity, and a fierce devotion to what he loved. The mid-1960s were a time when music was rewriting culture, and Volman found himself at the heart of that revolution. Alongside his lifelong friend and collaborator Howard Kaylan, he co-founded the Turtles, whose music became a soundtrack to countless lives. With their joyful harmonies, vibrant energy, and instantly recognizable style, they carved out a unique place in the world of rock and pop. Volman himself, with his unmistakable frizzy hair, became an icon in his own right, so much so that he once insured his hair in 1968 for $100,000, a lighthearted gesture that showed not just his playful personality, but the spirit he carried into everything he did. When the Turtles disbanded, what should have been an ending instead opened a new chapter, though not without obstacles. Legal constraints stemming from their contract prevented Volman and Kaylan from even using their own names professionally, a deeply frustrating challenge for two artists who had built their reputations on authenticity. Yet rather than succumb, they turned hardship into inspiration. They reimagined themselves as Flo and Eddie, a duo that expanded their artistry into music, film, and even radio. They brought humor and originality into projects ranging from animated films like Down and Dirty Duck to their memorable stint with Frank Zappa's band, the Mothers of Invention. With Zappa, Volman's creativity shone in fresh ways, especially through projects like the soundtrack for Zappa's surreal 1971 film 200 Motels. These experiences revealed his willingness to stretch beyond pop stardom and explore art that defied convention. Even as the years passed, the connection between Volman and Kaylan remained a magical thread. Their performances as Flo and Eddie and as part of the Turtles kept audiences smiling for decades. In 2015, the two celebrated half a century of partnership by joining the Happy Together Tour, a celebratory revue that honored the music of the 1960s and reintroduced it to newer generations. Performing more than 60 shows a year, they demonstrated how music has the power to transport listeners back to cherished memories. That same year brought a daunting challenge when Volman was diagnosed with throat cancer. For a man whose voice had defined his career, the diagnosis was frightening, but he faced it with the same resilience that had carried him through earlier storms. By 2016, he was declared cancer-free, inspiring both fans and fellow musicians alike with his courage. His dedication extended beyond performance. He and Kaylan worked tirelessly for the rights of artists, advocating against the unfair use of their music and standing up for fairness in an industry often stacked against its creators. When Kaylan stepped back from performing in 2018 due to health issues, Volman continued on as the last original member of the Turtles, a living testament to their friendship and the enduring power of their shared music. Though the stage defined much of his public life, Volman embraced an entirely new role when he decided to return to school at the age of 45. Enrolling at Loyola Marymount University, he proved that it is never too late to reinvent oneself. He threw himself into academics, joining the choir, and even helping establish a fraternity chapter. His commitment paid off when he graduated magna cum laude in 1997 and was chosen as valedictorian. True to his character, his speech was not just spoken but sung. He led his classmates in a heartfelt rendition of Happy Together, a moment that perfectly captured his ability to mix joy with meaning. Education became a second calling. He went on to earn a Master of Fine Arts in screenwriting and began sharing his knowledge with others. As a teacher at Loyola Marymount Los Angeles Valley College, and later as an associate professor at Belmont University, he turned his personal journey into lessons that inspired countless students. His platform, Ask Professor Flo, extended his mentorship further, allowing him to connect with aspiring artists seeking guidance. For him, teaching was not simply about coursework, but about passing down wisdom, humor, and encouragement. Volman's personal life also reflected his deep commitment to love and family. In 1967, he married his high school sweetheart, Patricia Lee Hickey, with whom he spent 25 years and raised two daughters, Sarina Marie and Hallie Ray. Though the marriage eventually ended, his devotion to his family never wavered. In 2000, he married Emily, bringing new companionship into his life, though this relationship too concluded in 2015. Despite the turns, he never gave up on love or the connections that gave his life meaning. In June 2023, he openly shared with the public that he had been diagnosed with Lewy body dementia. It was a brave act that invited compassion and spread awareness about a condition that remains less understood than many others. Through his openness, he continued to touch lives, demonstrating that even vulnerability can be a gift when shared with honesty. On September 5, 2025, at the age of 78, the world said farewell to Mark Volman. His passing, after a brief illness, brought sadness to those who cherished him, yet it also stirred celebration of a life so well lived. While estimates placed his financial worth between $1 and $5 million, that figure hardly captures his true riches. His wealth was measured in the joy of millions who found comfort in his songs, in the laughter of his students, and in the countless memories he helped create. As we remember Mark Randall Volman, we recall not just the musician, but the man who carried light wherever he went. He was a performer who understood that music heals, a teacher who believed knowledge should be shared freely, and a friend who stood by those he loved. Though he has left this world, his melodies continue to echo, inviting all of us to dream, to laugh, and to keep singing together. His passing leaves a space that cannot be filled, but his legacy ensures that he will never be forgotten. Rest in peace, dear Mark Volman. Your voice and your spirit remain forever with us.